Hello, friend. Thanks for joining me for another book chat. Today, let's spend some time with The Prophet by the Lebanese American poet and writer Khalil Gibran. This book was originally published in 1923, and I read this 1964 edition that I picked up at a used book sale a while back. And reading up a bit on the publication of this book, I learned that it is one of the most translated books ever written. And the author, as I mentioned, was of Lebanese descent, but the book was written originally in English. And it has never been out of print, supposedly, since its publication back in 1923. So, how about that? That's pretty cool. That's a pretty rare feat. So, what is this about? It is essentially a prose poem. It's very beautifully written. It reads like a series of fables or parables, sort of like in the Bible. These sort of, it's like a teacher, fables. So as the book opens, the narrator, who is the prophet, it says, Al-Mustafa, the chosen and the beloved, who was a dawn unto his own day, had waited 12 years in the city of Phlebas for his ship that was to return and bear him back to the isle of his birth. So Al-Mustafa has been sort of an exile in this city, in this town for 12 years. But in that 12th year, he sees the ship coming in the mist into the harbor to take him, home. And he's overjoyed by that, and he sort of is going to run to it. But as he's looking back on the town where he's spent the last 12 years, he becomes a bit melancholy, and he says, he's struggled there and he's been lonely there, yet he just can't leave it that easily. And so he realizes that he can't just walk away, and so he starts to walk back to the city. And as he does that, at the gate of the town, he sees everybody dropping everything that they were doing, dropping whatever work they were doing or whatever they were doing, and coming over to meet him at the city gates. And then the book itself is really that sort of interaction then between him and the people of the town. The elders, so from the book says, the elders of the city say, Go not yet away from us. A noontide have you been in our twilight, and your youth has given us dreams to dream. No stranger are you among us, nor a guest, but our son and our dearly beloved. Suffer not yet our eyes to hunger for your face. Isn't that beautiful? That's an example of how the poem sort of sounds. It's a prose poem. It's telling a story in sort of a poetic way. The book goes on to say, And the priests and the priestesses say, Much have we loved you, but speechless was our love, and with veils has it been veiled. Yet now it cries aloud unto you, and would stand revealed before you. And ever has it been that love knows not its own depth until the hour of separation. And anyone who's ever lost a loved one knows that that's true, that you realize when it's really too late to tell them many times how much that you have loved them and how much you have loved them being in your life. So the book then, as I mentioned, the people of the town gather around him and ask him a series of questions about different topics. And there are 26 different topics, and I'm going to list them there. Love, marriage, children, giving, eating and drinking, work, joy and sorrow, houses, clothes, buying and selling, crime and punishment, laws, freedom, reason and passion, pain, self-knowledge, teaching, friendship, talking, time, good and evil, prayer, pleasure, beauty, religion, and death. So, the rest of the book is this sort of interchange between the people of the town asking about these different topics and then he giving a response. So I thought the way that I would do the rest of this chat is just to pull out some of those responses, some of those questions and responses, a bit of it, and you can get an idea sort of what the book really feels like. So, then said Almitra, Speak to us of love. And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, When love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. So beautiful. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, Speak to us of children. And he said, Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. Isn't that beautiful? About children. Then there's this section that says, Then said a rich man, Speak to us of giving. And he answered, You give but little of yourself when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor give with mindfulness of virtue. They give as in yonder valley the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Through the hands of such as these God speaks, and from behind their eyes he smiles upon the earth. I think that's so beautiful, that giving like the flower gives in the sense of sort of unselfconsciously is the true way to give in the spiritual sense. I thought that was so cool. And about these quotes, so each of these sort of, they're almost like chapters, these topics. So I'm only reading very brief excerpts. Then a plowman said, Speak to us of work. And he answered, saying, You work that you may keep pace with the earth and the soul of the earth. Always you have been told that work is a curse and labor is a misfortune. Work is love made visible. And if you cannot work with love, but only with distaste, it is better that you should leave your work and sit at the gate of the temple and take alms of those who work with joy. That is a good reminder for every work day that, find a way to enjoy your work, that work is a good thing. I think that's very cool. And a merchant said, Speak to us of buying and selling. And he answered and said, To you the earth yields her fruit, and you shall not want if you but know how to fill your hands. It is in exchanging the gifts of the earth that you shall find abundance and be satisfied. And if there come the singers and the dancers and the flute players, buy of their gifts also, for they too are gatherers of fruit and frankincense, and that which they bring, though fashioned of dreams, is raiment and food for your soul. I love that, that singing and music is, and dancing is just as much food for you as food, right? So I thought that was really cool. A poet said, Speak to us of beauty. And he answered, Where shall you seek beauty, and how shall you find her, unless she herself be your way and your guide? People of Orphalese, beauty is life when life unveils her holy face. But you are life, and you are the veil. Beauty is eternity gazing at itself in a mirror. But you are eternity, and you are the mirror. So beautiful. So this book is a really beautiful. On that note of beauty, this little book is beautiful. And I can really see how it's been in print for the last 100 years. Because it is the perfect thing to pick up when you need some beauty in your life, or to give to someone who needs some beauty in their life. This is the perfect little book for that. I just really, it doesn't take long to read. It's a relatively short little book, but man, it's got a lot in it. It's really, really beautiful. So I think I will close this chat of this little book with that. I just love this. It's something that I will revisit for sure in the future. But my next chat is going to switch gears completely. I am going to move off into some science fiction. Book 1 of the Culture series by Iain M. Banks. Consider Phlebas, and I have finished it already, so I will have a chat on this coming up soon. Until next time, take care. Bye.